You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show.
This is definitely a highlight of what our contestant Ashley was going through. Hello, everybody, and this is Extreme Weight Loss Edition. And this is episode 11. For those of y'all who are just now tuning in, I'm Lina Green, and sorry, Lauren's not with us today, but we do have Marisa, our lovely Marisa, stepping in with us.
Stepping in for Lauren this week. But
She's like, I didn't even know.
But this was a great episode.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting to see what happens. So let's just jump right in. So we start with Ashley looking in the mirror at herself, which is kind of what all the contestants do. They start by having their bloomers, I want to say bloomers, but their bra and underwear on, and they're looking at themselves in the mirror, and they're kind of evaluating themselves. And Ashley, she's going through a lot. She kind of blames herself for a lot of the stuff that happened, why she gained weight, and the stuff that happened with her sister, which we're just going to go into. So one of the tipping points of why she started eating and her eating addiction was her sister. She got hit by a bus, and this was in the news. Where she's from Bakersfield, California, and she's 26, which I didn't say, and right now she's currently 200 pounds overweight. So this all started from her sister getting hit by a bus, and she blames herself because her sister always followed her around, and she was like, go away, I don't want you to hang with me, and she sent her sister off that day, and her sister ended up getting hit with a bus, which is unfortunate, but she has to know it's not her fault. But she blames herself, and this is what starts her eating addiction. So it's unfortunate that it happens, but after that, it was just a spiral, and she gets married to Jason, which I guess it's proper to say that this whole episode is called Jason and Ashley, because there's two people, actually, which we'll find out later on. So,
and I think it's great to have two people doing in it together. I think it's better because statistically, if you have other people joining in or rooting you on, you have better chances of actually
getting
accomplishing your goals.
And especially a loved one or a husband or a significant other. It really did help. So that was not the high point. The high point of it is when her daughter, she has a daughter years later with her husband Jason, and because of her choices, which is her words, her choices of her eating, she loses her baby. The baby only lives for 2 days. So that definitely starts a descent of just eating and not taking care of herself. So we see her going through this and why her weight gain happens, and her husband trying to deal with it too. So it definitely is like the catalyst, I guess you would say. So after that, she writes to Chris Powell, like many of the contestants do, asking him to help her. And Chris Powell does it. He does it different for everyone. He surprises everyone, but this time he gives her a call. He's not so flashy with it this time. He just gives her a call on her cell phone while she's hanging out with her family. And he's like, hey, she's like, who is this? He's like, oh, Chris Powell. She's like, oh my God, Chris Powell's here, everybody. And, she's taking pictures. She's the photographer, which I forgot to mention. And so she's taking pictures with her family. She does landscaping. And he calls her, and she's so excited. And he goes, the challenge for you in order to be admitted into this is to do a scavenger hunt. And so she's real excited. And the scavenger hunt is something really special, which Chris always has these phenomenal things that relate to the person's life. He has her do a scavenger hunt about what led to her eating and what led to her weight gain. So she has to document, she has to have these cards where she says, well, this is how I, got this way, or this sound. She has a document that she has 4 hours to do it in order to be in the program. So she gets started, She's running. Her husband's so supportive. I love that. Like, this is one of like those episodes that I love because her husband Jason is like right with her in the beginning, and we'll see more of him throughout this episode. So she gets going with this scavenger hunt, and she gets it done. And by the end of it, Chris Powell's like, okay, at the end, you're in, which, he admits on everybody who finishes their task. So she's really excited. So she goes to California. Yay. So after that,
California, great place.
Because you live in California. So after that, we start with the documentation of her first weigh-in, which we see with the whole freight weigh-in. She says she's used to weighing herself, but she never looks at herself in the mirror. So she'll weigh herself without anybody around. And doing it in front of Chris was so embarrassing for her. One, because we've never seen this, the robe didn't fit her. And she said the people kept trying to like pull it over her stomach, but it wouldn't close. So she was on the weight, and her robe was open, and she felt so embarrassed. And you could she was like shaking. She was like, I'm shaking. I'm so nervous. My robe wouldn't close. And I don't think we've ever seen that. Maybe they gave her a small robe. I don't know, because we've had bigger contestants and the robe closed. So I don't know why the robe didn't close this time, but it really did upset her. And so she does her weigh-in. She has to take off her robe in front of Chris and, in front of everyone. And she weighs in at 325. Which to Chris, I mean, it's not the biggest that we've had on the show, but she's 5'2", and Chris says that's obese. Like, that's obese for her height and weight. So he goes into telling her, like, yeah, we're going to get this done. We're going to have you lose this weight. And then that's when her husband, this is like the greatest moment, where her husband steps in when they go to the house and they're talking about, well, what are the steps we're going to use to get this weight off of you? And her husband, Jason, he steps in and says, you know what, we can do this. And he uses we. And Chris is like, when Chris hears that, he's like, I'm so proud to hear that. I love seeing the significant other step up to want to, dive into this with their wife or husband. So he steps up and says, I'm going to join this with her. And so he weighs in at 398. So they start their journey together. And first, after the scavenger hunt, they get to go to the nutritionist, which we see the nutritionist. I think I got her name. I think it's Paulette. Paulette, the nutritionist, teaches them about eating, and she tells Ashley about eating healthy, because one of Ashley's main things was not eating healthy. She would try to run. She used to play softball. She worked out when she was younger, but eating healthy was one of her main goals, and that's what led to her miscarriage, which a lot of people don't realize that can lead to lots of problems. So the nutritionist tells her it also will affect their son, which that's another. They have a son named Tyler. And after her first miscarriage, they were scared about having another child. And they ended up having a son that she carried for 9 months. And she was terrified the whole 9 months of carrying this child. So I couldn't imagine being terrified when pregnancy is like one of the most amazing and happiest moments of your life.
Yeah, and especially knowing that you're already unhealthy from the beginning, and then having a pregnancies tend to change the woman's bodies in so many ways. And for someone of that weight from the beginning, it could also increase like glucose and whatnot that could make her like
which I wish they said more about.
Or something. So like there are certain health risks that are even increased even more when you're that unhealthy.
Yeah. And so the nutritionist goes into her and says, your son's also copying your eating patterns, which we saw him doing. Like, he would eat what they ate. And so the nutritionist said that 50%, if there is one adult in the household who is obese, that's going to be a 50% chance that the child will be obese. If there's two, which Jason and Ashley were both obese, that's an 85% chance of obesity for the child. And I think that really impacted Ashley, and that made her say, you know what, I'm going to lose this weight, not just for myself, but for my family. So we see her really start to dive into it and say, you know what, this is not just for my daughter, Ava, who she lost, but this is for my son, Tyler, and my husband, Jason. And another, which we didn't talk about, I don't know if you saw, when her daughter had died, she went to the burial ground in order to get some closure, because Chris felt like it would be best for her to get closure, because we saw her break down about 10 times in the first 20 minutes of the episode, which I saw some people tweeting about it. Or like, she's cried like 10 times. Will she be able to get through this? Which I could see she was strong. I knew like this girl's going to get through this, but she really needs to have some closure about blaming herself for her daughter's death and what happened to her sister. So she goes to her daughter's grave, Ava, and she brings Tyler, and they kind of reconcile there and have this moment.
And I think that's nice because they have like the visual reinforcement of why you're going to go on the show and this way, and just really wraps it up like and brings clarity to what they're doing.
Yeah, and let Tyler, the little boy, know that this is, why this mommy and daddy, have spun out of control with our weight. And she kind of explains it to him. And, a child doesn't really understand. Like, he's like, what, is this my sister? How did she die? He doesn't really know about death and stuff. But I think they tried to explain it to him and say, we're going to get back healthy as a family so that this doesn't happen again.
And Tyler's so cute. And how old is he?
He's like five,
6? Yeah. And so any kid at that age probably wouldn't understand.
Didn't understand. Although some kids are like smart. They're like,
some
I know what this is.
But it was nice to see Tyler like realize something's happening to their family, and even though he doesn't understand, it's something for the better.
Yeah, definitely. So we go into he does the renovation, which Chris always does these amazing renovations. He renovates their house into a gym, and they're all excited and stuff after they come back. And Chris decides to stay with them for the first phase. So for phase 1, he decides to stay with them and get Ashley through this because he knows that the eating right will be hard for her and the exercising because, she's not used to it. So he stays with her, helps them get through it, and he tells them, if she can get through this, he will buy her more photography equipment. That would be the reward. I like his rewards. Like, if you do this, you get a reward. And this couple seemed to get a lot of stuff. Like, it seemed like of all the contestants we've had on here, this couple seemed to got a lot. For the first one, they got this. Then the second one we're going to go into, they got a huge trip. So it's like excitement for them.
Reward systems work.
I love, it does work.
Especially when it's something that could help your career as well.
Yeah.
And she's also a photographer, so that'll not only is she getting healthy, she's improving her career as well.
Yeah, and plus, she wanted to get healthy, but she was an athlete. And we've seen this in the past where the athletes, she pushed it in phase 1. Like, she was killing all the workouts he threw at her. She was killing it. And one of her goals was to play softball. She wanted to play softball in Olympics. What she had 3 of the Olympics gold medalists come out and play softball with her. She was so amazed by that. She took pictures, and it was one of the things she documents later on to say, I couldn't do this at first, but now I'm playing with gold medal Olympics. And I love that.
And that's great because not only is she surrounded by the people that she wants to become.
Yeah.
And so
it's a positive reinforcement.
Exactly. And they're great people to get advice from as well. Like, how do you stay fit? And that'll help.
Especially
her as
Olympic people.
Olympians, yeah.
They're
the ones you go to for
crazy
health.
Motivated.
Yes, crazy healthy,
motivated.
Crazy fit. Yeah.
Crazy. Look, just crazy.
just crazy in a good way, though.
Yeah.
They're the ones that you should really go to for any information.
Which I like that he's doing a trend now. Like, for the past 3 episodes, he's had Olympic medalists come and work out with them. I guess more of them are seeing the show and want to come on and help out the contestants. And
do you think it'd be cool if there'd be like a guest Olympian every week?
Yeah, that would be cool. Or like he had a boxer, like just people who are professional athletes or professionals at what they do, because those people are very committed. And they don't back down. No. These contestants need that. And they end up adopting those strategies. So, yeah, it definitely helps.
She's an athlete. She has that competitive mentality to just keep going.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the rewards for going into phase 2, for the first phase, they needed to lose 83 pounds. So Ashley is hitting it, and her husband, Jason, has joined on at this moment. And they're both hitting and stuff. And at this point, we see Ashley kind of lagging off. There's an anniversary of her daughter's death that comes up. So she's kind of lags off, and her husband is picking up the slack. He ends up actually losing more weight than her at this first phase, which, I mean, we've seen that happen. Men typically lose weight quicker anyway.
Faster.
So I honestly don't feel like that was like her lagging off or anything, although she did take like some weeks off, but she needed some time to grieve a little bit more because the anniversary date, That's hard to go through. Like maybe a week she should have took off.
And it's not just her. Jason's going through it as well.
Yeah,
because he lost the daughter.
And he says that. And he says that throughout the episode, how he felt like he was kind of like a single parent, because when she did start going back into working out, she wasn't there to hang out with Tyler and stuff. So he's having to cope with it, as well as take on these other responsibilities, as well as try to lose the weight too, because he has now committed himself in this. So it's kind of a great dynamic to see that he has volunteered himself, and Chris not only accepts him in it, but it's like he has these expectations of him, and he meets those expectations above and beyond to help her.
And the greatest thing is that Jason didn't have to do this.
He didn't.
This is all self-driven.
Yeah.
And also, motivated by his family, but this was within himself that he really wanted to do this.
Yeah, it really was. And so let me see. So when they do the weigh-in for phase 1, they come out. Okay, so Jason loses 53 pounds for the weigh-in, and Ashley loses 83. So at the beginning, she hit her goal, and what Chris was proud of Jason. He wasn't in it at the beginning, but he did go above and beyond what Chris expected. So for that, he rewards them with a trip to, I can't even say this word, Montepuku, South America. Am I saying that? Do you even know? It's South America. It's like Montepuku.
Piku.
Monte. Okay.
Probably Pichu. Sorry for completely butchering it. But somewhere in South America, Peru.
And their goal at this point is to lose 50 pounds, which that's a lot of weight.
I want to say Pichu.
Pichu, yes.
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu. Okay. So this
say it fast and people will
Machu
never
Picchu.
know.
So the goal for this one is to lose 50 pounds, and the reward is to get to go to Machu Picchu. And
Machu Picchu.
So Ashley can take Marissa's like,
I'm going to keep trying.
Are you looking it up online?
Yes, I am, actually.
They don't have the pronunciation.
For those of you listening, I am engineering, so I'm multitasking here.
And we're still not getting it right, no. So it's bad.
Throw me a bone.
Yeah. So the reward is to go to Machu Picchu so that Ashley can photograph it, because that's another one of her goals in life was to go there and photograph this amazing place. Which when they go there, they go on a train and she's looking out at the landscape. It's breathtakingly beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
Beautiful. I'm wishing I was there. I was like, and I love that Chris gets to go on all these trips. Like he makes sure he's there at all these trips, and I'm like, man, he's so lucky. I wish I was him. So Chris is there and stuff, and he tells her that he wants her to lose those 50 pounds so that she's lighter in order to do a 1,300 hike. Wait, what?
1,300
feet hike. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
That's like the very high elevation.
There's a few stories.
I told you 1,300 miles before. You're like, what?
I'm like, what? That's like walking from California to the Midwest.
I wouldn't know, but you would die doing that, basically. But no, 1,300 feet hike, which I think when he told Ashley and Chase, their eyes got so big, like, what? Really? Yeah, and he was like, you need to lose this weight because it's going to be hard if you have all this extra weight on you. And Ashley was game. She was like, I can do this, we can do this. And she wasn't scared. She was like, I'm not going to back down, So they have 3 months without Chris. This is phase 2, where they have these 3 months to get this workout in and try to lose the 50 pounds in order to do this disaster. I'm sorry. I have a height issue, and I couldn't do it. Like, I love heights. I stay on the ground, running cans, all I can do. I don't know about you.
I'm not too bad. Like, I do get some vertigo, but it doesn't really faze me.
It doesn't.
I was like, it'll take me a few seconds to acclimate, but then I'm like,
do you look
awesome.
down though?
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, that's what scares me when I looked. If you're at that elevation where they went, I'm freaking out.
But I think that's fun. Looking down and be like, look how high I went.
Yeah, but then you got to come down. You don't know if you slip and fall, you're going to die.
Here's a picture.
You have no fear. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
For those of you listening,
so they finally, so this hike, they finally get there and they do a weigh-in. And unfortunately, Ashley does not meet her weigh-in goal. She comes under, but her husband actually meets his goal and far exceeds it. So They weigh in. Ashley weighs in at 214 pounds, and he wanted her to get to 195 pounds, I believe. He wanted her to be under that 200 pounds. And then Jason gets to 293 pounds. So Ashley loses 28 pounds, and Jason loses 52, doubles his wife. And Chris is like, he's not even in the program, Ashley, and he's like, killing you. And she's like, man, I tried. And there was a lot of setbacks. You know, a lot of them, we see this all the time at phase 2 where people kind of shrug off on their, is that a word? Shrug off? Shrug off. Shrug off on their workouts on phase 2, and they don't lose the weight. But the fact that her husband does, and he far exceeds it, I mean, I think that impressed Chris. Like, he was like, I'm impressed that, you know, Jason is in for this. But it definitely motivated, like Jason was motivating Ashley, and Ashley was saying, like, she probably wouldn't have even lost that 28 pounds if she hadn't heard Jason working out in the morning. Right. Which, like you were saying, that's a great motivation. Like, if there's nobody there, you just want to sit on your butt and do nothing.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also because, like, women tend to, they start off great, and then their bodies just kind of, like, plateau a little bit.
Like, with the weight loss and stuff.
Exactly. So it might just been at the point where she was
plateau.
She was kind of getting in that autopilot mode with like all of the workouts she was doing, and then her body weight just kind of leveled off a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean that's significant. Like she only lost 28 pounds, a little slacking off.
Yeah,
maybe a little.
Maybe. Maybe not enough motivation.
Yeah,
yet.
Yeah. I mean, if you're still sleeping and your husband's up, he's clearly been up for like some hours, and then she finally, like, they showed her, she would finally get up and be like, hey babe, and like she's white, he's like been hitting it for like a good hour, and she's like, hey babe, you know, I'm gonna get some coffee and I'll join you in a minute. So it's like, come on. But I mean, I love that he lets them go ahead and go like on the trips, and then he weighs them there, so it's like they still get the reward, but it's like it motivates them to do better in phase 3, which is smart on Chris's part. It's like, you know, I'm gonna still let you do this, but I want you to really kick it in. So they do the hike, and it's a, like, this is the first time I've ever seen Chris get really like scared about something. Like, Ashley starts hyperventilating. I don't know, she couldn't breathe from the high elevation. I think they got to like high up there, and she couldn't breathe, and she starts gasping for breath, and she's like, I can't go on. And her husband's like, you can do it, let me hold your backpack. She's like, no, I can do it. And like, she's fighting through this, and you could see like her physically trying to fight through this, and Chris is like, I'm scared, I don't know if I don't want her to pass out or anything. But Ashley gets herself together. Like, she said she heard Jason, she heard Chris telling her, you can do this, this is all in your head, it's mind over matter. Which a lot of times, I guess, have you ever hiked that high, like with a high elevation?
Not that high.
No, but like,
I mean, I do running canyon every once in a while, and I think that's high.
Running canyon is not.
No.
Can you consider that a real hike? No,
it's not.
But like, I guess it does get to a point where you're so high where it's like your brain is like, okay, default, go back down. I guess, I don't know. But she started hyperventilating.
She might have got some vertigo, and also the elevation, like the
Yeah.
air is thinner.
Yeah.
She might have just physically had a harder time breathing. Therefore, could have led to a more natural anxiety attack.
Yeah, that's probably that's what I was thinking. Maybe an anxiety attack, a panic attack, or something like that led her to think that she couldn't breathe. Mm-hmm. But she gathers herself together, and she she takes a deep breath, and you see her like stand up straight, and she just starts pushing it, like beating Chris. And at one point she's like, Chris, can you keep up? And Chris is like huffing and puffing like, well, I can't do this. Like, man, she's beating me. Like, she just gets like a spurt of air. I don't know what it was, but she just like starts going. And I guess they're almost there. You know, when you finally get to the top, you're like, okay, I'm finna see.
Like
I'm almost,
Rocky, kind of.
You do that Rocky moment and stuff. So as soon as they get to the top, she is rewarded. I think we're all rewarded with this amazing landscape of these ruins. And she gets to take pictures. Her, Chris, and her husband, Jason, are taking pictures by it, and they're like celebrating this moment. And it's such a beautiful moment because you're looking out over this beautiful scenery. And she said she would never imagine that she could be there, especially at the weight she was. There's no way she would have been able to hike that. No way. No. it just takes your breath away, the scenery. So
I think that's even more rewarding too.
It was very rewarding for her. She's a landscape photographer. For her to be able to capture that forever, that's going to be for her children, her children's children, getting to see, like, look what my great-great-grandmother did. This is amazing. Yeah. So she gets to capture this forever. So they get that as the biggest reward, I guess, for to me. Well, actually, at the end, there's a huge reward for them, but we'll talk about that. And then after that, they end up her and her husband go on a little date, which is so sweet because they haven't been able to do this because of their son, Tyler. And they're talking about how they want another child and the difficulties with, the first child passing away and her anxiety with Tyler. And she's saying, I'm getting healthy, and I know we want to talk about this, having a child since I'm, starting to get back in shape. And her husband's like, I'm so on board with it, babe. This is what we both wanted. And Chris comes and ruins it. He comes from, and you can see their faces when Chris just walks in. He's like, with his backpack on, like they're all dressed up and pretty at this nice restaurant. And Chris comes in like, hey guys. And they're like, hey Chris, they're trying to be happy. Like, what's up, Chris? But they're like, okay, you just ruined our date. And he has like some news, like, he wants to discuss the goals and stuff. And it's kind of like he puts some really hard hitting news on Ashley. Like, it's good news. He tells them that if Ashley can lose a certain amount of weight, that her husband, Jason, which he's never done in the history of the show. And we've had where other family members have joined in to help with, the weight loss. But this is the first time he tells someone that he will walk them into the doctor's office in order to get the surgery for the weight loss. And that's a huge, the skin removal surgery. That's a huge pressure. Like, that's expensive surgery. And for Jason to get it too, just if Ashley was to hit her goal weight, that's huge. And so that's a lot of pressure on Ashley. So I want to stop there. We're going to talk about Cereal Buddies. Marisa.
Yeah. Everyone, please go on to iTunes and please support AfterBuzz and all these amazing after shows that we do here. We do about 40 to 60 after shows weekly. And by helping us keep these after shows going, you can go onto iTunes and download Adventures of Cereal Buddies. Our executive producers and founders of AfterBuzz, Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and even Phil Svitek, they helped create this amazing, funny movie, Cereal Buddies, about two budding friends who go on a road trip together and kill a bunch of people for fun. It is really light.
So much glee. Kill people.
They kill people for fun. And it's filled with star-studded amazing people. Kathy Lee Gifford, Beth Bears, Maria Menounos herself. Henry Winkler narrates, the Fonz. You can't turn him down.
The Fonz. I watched that all the time growing up.
That's a great show.
I thought he was so hot.
Great show. It's so many awesome people, so please go to iTunes and download that. And while you do that, you can also download this amazing after show.
And rate us. Tell us what you think. We read all the comments, so go ahead, rate us. Tell us if you like us, and tell us about the show. And we want to hear about any 5K runs, which we'll talk about.
Yes, we will get there.
Why are you so excited? Okay, so her weight loss, she has to hit 175 pounds. She's never been this in her life, and she says that. She has never been even under 200 pounds in her life. And Chris wants her to reach 175 pounds in order for her and Jason to get the consultation with the doctor for the skin removal surgery.
And that's just the consultation.
That's just a consultation. So I'm
glad,
not
even the approval.
Yeah, they still have to get approval and stuff, which I'm glad they knew that they were clear on that. That doesn't mean they're approved.
Right.
They just get to get walked in by Chris and, hey, can they be candidates for the skin removal? I've never seen a contestant so motivated. And I guess this would be a motivation for your husband to get it too. You want him to be just as happy as you. She's going to get it anyway. So him getting it is just a plus, a bonus. And I love him. He tries to put no pressure on her.
No.
He's like...
Such a great man. And the thing I love about this, and I haven't seen as many episodes as you have. I honestly, and I was talking to you during the show, that it'd be... a little bit awkward to approve Ashley for the skin removal surgery and not approve Jason.
It will be, but it happens.
Has there been any episodes where
they have
denied the candidate?
Well, they don't, at the end, they give them the last phase to lose the weight. and then get it, but they're still angry because they want that gone by the time it's the finale. Right. So yes, there has been quite a few contestants that have been denied. So we don't know at this point if like they're both going to get denied or approved.
And I was also going to ask, do they usually have this skin removal consultation surgery during phase 2? I would figure at the end of your whole
I've seen it where they do it at phase 2 if it gets in the way of them losing the weight. That's a lot of them complain about that. That's why they want it done before the finale, so they could be, and it makes it easier for them to lose the rest of the weight. And it makes them see how they look at this point. And I think a lot of it's like your mind. Yeah, they want to see it in their minds, like, what do I look like with all the skin? So it really helps motivate them to lose the rest of the weight.
Even more so.
Now that you said that, I've noticed that the contestants that do get it, to me, it looks like they lose more weight. Like, because they're just so motivated, and that skin is out of their way.
Yeah, it's already gone.
It gets so much in their way when they're working out.
And even removing the skin, that takes away weight as
well. Yeah, it takes away the weight, and it just, I guess psychologically, it's like, okay, I'm seeing the results now.
Exactly.
I'm seeing my body change. So it helps, I guess. So they really do want it before the finale. Because they want to feel really good when they're on stage in front of all their family and friends. But yeah, so she has to hit this goal of 175 pounds. She is hitting this workout like it's nothing. I'm thinking she's working out probably 12 hours a day hitting it. They show her like, but I can't even do that workout. I cannot pull my body up I can't do that. Physically, I cannot do that. And she's like hitting it. She's so motivated. And
Good for her.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, but I mean, this is something she really wants. But we see Jason, he's left at home a lot with Tyler, their son, and he starts, we see this in the past where they feel like they're the only parent and they didn't sign up for that, to just be the only parent, having to stay home with the child and stuff. And so he complains about that a little, but it's not like hardcore, like, man, I'm so mad. It's like...
But they have the mini home gym as well, too.
Yeah, they do.
So he does have that.
They do, but, they're going off. She's going off to, like, the boot camp or something, like, which is at the end where they get, like, the hardcore workout. Right. Which, I mean, we saw the finale. He looked amazing at the end, so it wasn't like he was lacking at all.
For nothing,
Yeah. So, at the end of that phase, before the finale, they go and they talk to Chris, which contestants do, and he likes to see their progress before the last phase. And Ashley comes walking in like she's a supermodel. She has so much confidence than when we saw her first walked in, and even she noticed it, like, and Chris was like, wow, like, she walks in with her head, she has this cute little outfit. They both looked amazing. And Chris is like, just like, wow, like clapping for them when they come in. She's like, look at me now. And it was just such a beautiful moment because you see how it changed, not just physically, but mentally, how changed they are at this phase. It's not even at the end. Like, they're already mentally and physically changed. So they have this...
they're working out. Their, endorphins are running high.
Yeah.
So naturally, they would be on a natural high.
Yeah,
and I guess, everyday life.
And when doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
more happy.
And you're healthy and you're feeling good. You're walking straighter. And Jason makes a joke. He's like, now I got on skinny jeans and stuff. Yeah. He's so funny throughout this thing. Like, you don't notice that at first because he's so quiet when he was, more obese. He was very quiet. And you notice throughout this phase, he starts getting more vocal. He's kidding around with Chris, and he's making jokes. He's a funny guy. Like, at one point, they were filming each other, and she was like, show me your sad face, Jason. And he's like, and they're just so cute as a couple. You root for them because they're there for each other. And they're just so cute as a couple.
Yeah, and they're people that you want to see succeed.
Yeah.
And both of their personalities really stand out. Like,
at the end,
you can tell they are truly in love.
Yeah.
And
that's
they're
beautiful
doing this for themselves.
Because you see on a lot of the couples, you haven't watched the other episodes, but a lot of the couples have fought at this point, and they're like, you see breakups, like verge of breakups, and they were so strong from the beginning. They were so united from the beginning, especially when Jason stepped up to say, we're going to do this together. And I've seen where some of the husbands are like, okay, yeah, they lose like 20 pounds in the overall. They don't commit fully. Jason commit fully to this.
Oh, yeah.
And like stood by. And I don't know if he had to work or whatever. He did everything else, took care of Tyler, and still fully committed himself to this to help Ashley. It was beautiful. Like, I think I started crying at one point. You weren't there, but I was crying silently. I didn't want you to see me, so I turned around. Chris got really uncomfortable. Like, I didn't want to see that. Okay. I would have walked out. So they have this talk, and she brings out this scrapbook, and it's a beautiful scrapbook. It documents her scavenger hunt in the beginning, the pictures that she took with the yellow cards that said, well, this is what held me back to what she is now. And that, I think, that's going to be an everlasting impression, like, in her life. Like,
I love that. That's also another visual reinforcement to show her progress, and that the whole then and now photos.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And how she went back and accomplished, she's like, me with the pizza, me with the fruit. And she's looking how cute on this fruit ball. And Chris is like blown away. Like, this is beautiful. Like, that scrapbook was like I think all the contestants should start doing that. That was great.
I was like, no one told her to do that. She did that on her own.
Yeah. And I think Chris was impressed. I think this is like...
That should be an episodic type of theme.
Where they make scrapbooks?
Where they both... Like, the contestants should document themselves.
Yeah.
Physical.
I mean, I think some of them document, they do with cameras and stuff, but the scrapbook is just a whole new level of doing it. It's like for her to have those the cards that said, this is what kept me where I was. And then she went back and did that whole scavenger hunt to where she was now. Like, Kristen asked her to do that. No. She did it on her own, and it was just a beautiful thing. So after that, they do the weigh-in, which this is our 9-month weigh-in, right? No, this is our last weigh-in. Oh, this is the weigh-in right before our finale for the 5K. Marisa, you like 5Ks?
I love 5Ks. They're so much fun, and I can understand why everyone was excited for it.
Yeah, she was definitely excited. She doesn't run. You run every day, right? You run a lot.
I run a lot. Every day I would love to.
Every morning you run. I have a friend that runs like 8 miles a day every morning. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
That's great.
What does that do for you? Does it help you, like...
Running, it helps. For me, I run to run and to clear my mind and just feel physically healthy. Yeah. And it's my release.
But does it put any strain on your joints and stuff? Do you have any...
No, I'm good.
Really?
As of right now, I'm good.
But in a few weeks.
It's good. It's healthy. Gets cardio going. Gets your muscles going. And plus 5Ks, because I have done a few, and actually 5Ks is my...
How many miles is that?
My 2013 resolution is to do 5 different 5Ks throughout the year.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm reaching that limit as of right now. But 5Ks are just great events that so many people can get together, have fun, do something healthy for themselves. And it's a positive atmosphere.
Okay. Are yours for like charities or something?
Yeah, the ones that I do are for charity.
So the one that she does, the one that Ashley does is going to be dedicated to her daughter, Ava, who passed away earlier, which we find out. So that's going to be like the finale, which we never seen this either. So Chris definitely pulls out a lot of punches in this episode, like some different things to surprise us. At the end of the finale, they're going to do a 5K in honor of Ava, and for other parents who have lost children. So they go into the weigh-in, and this finale and they made us wait. Like, can we, ABC, can y'all not have 2 commercial breaks
not cool.
for a finale? That's not cool. Like, I didn't want Marissa to have to sit through those commercial breaks. I was embarrassed. No. I knew it was coming, but she didn't know. It's embarrassing. The finale, they looked amazing. When they got out that car, they looked amazing. They looked like 2 different people. 2 different people. Like, literally.
Completely different people. And the fact that her family and friends were all there supporting her and rooting her on, that makes it even greater.
Yeah. It was, when I see the transfer, I'm stunned. There's been like about 3 of them that have stunned me at the transfer. This is one of them that I'm like completely stunned. A lot of them have lost weight, and it's really amazing to see. But when I'm like stunned like this, like from the 3 months, and they only have these last 3 months from when we saw them to then, they lost a lot of weight from that last weigh-in to the finale.
Yeah.
Especially Jason. He looked incredible.
He's tall, skinny man.
Don't hit on him. It's okay.
But he looked amazing.
Yeah, he did.
Complete transformation.
I had my mouth like open, like, what the heck?
I think we both did.
Yeah. And she looked beautiful. It was like two different people. Not that they weren't beautiful before they were, but this transformation. So they were really cute.
They're really cute together. And they both had like peps in their step. And like,
it's funny. Even though she's 5'2" and he's like 6'something, it looked like they still seemed so synced.
Oh yeah, like, definitely. They still belong
together.
It
just they looked really good together.
Yeah.
And the finale was just amazing. And, Chris gives them the $25,000 Walmart gift card, the shameless pubbing from Walmart.
Shameless plug of Walmart. $25,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot of money. Especially, can you imagine how much
and that's for food. That's,
you can, for 3 people, that can last you
for years to come. And that's smart that he does that, because that's a huge part of the change, the getting the lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle back on track. So they get this card, and then after they get their weigh-in, their final weigh-in, Jason weighs in he goes first. Ladies are supposed to go first, but Jason goes first because, he wasn't originally in the program. But his final weigh-in is 228, which he goes above his. He was supposed to weigh in at 245. That was the goal that Chris gave him. He was like, forget that, Chris. He threw that up. He balled that up in Chris's face and threw it in his face. He didn't do that. But he said, forget that. He said, forget that, Chris. I'm going to go do 228. And he looked amazing. And then Ashley weighed in at 161, which... They've both lost more than half of their body weight. Like
together, they lost 334 pounds.
Yeah, Jason lost 170 and Ashley lost 164.
Wow.
In a year, it makes you see like what you can change your life around in a year. Do stuff you've never done in a year.
Right.
Like that whole documented experience of what they did in a year. They lived lives that they probably never thought they would live.
And they even went to South America.
Yeah, that's like part of it, like the experiences that they had.
Yes.
Exactly. Amazing. And so I love how they take pictures throughout this whole thing. So they document this throughout it. So it was really, this was one of my favorite episodes, definitely.
I definitely enjoyed this episode.
I'm glad you did, Marissa. So that is it.
And of course, they do the 5K run.
Yeah, they do the 5K run, which it's nice. This was Ashley's first 5K run, too. So.
And great for her. 5Ks are so much fun. They really are.
That's 3 miles, right?
3.1 miles. Yeah.
3.1 miles.
I think their next goal should be maybe 10K. Make it even.
You're pushing it.
10Ks, half marathon.
So what did we say we're gonna do? So we're gonna try to do a 5K, right?
Oh, we are doing it.
And Lauren is too.
We're not gonna try.
We're signing Lauren up too. So.
Oh yeah, you guys are witnesses.
Y'all are witnesses. I can't believe I'm doing this. Do a 5K. You're getting this on tape.
I'm pumped. I'm excited. I love 5Ks. They are just really great, fun experiences.
You know what? I've ran 2 miles, so 1 more mile shouldn't be like super bad.
See, average length of 5Ks go from anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's
45 minutes. And a lot of people walk them. You don't have to run.
Do you run them? If you're full out run, no, Marissa.
I run them.
Can you just like half walk, half like meet in the middle?
You can. I mean, the ones that I do usually aren't timed. So they're just, again, they're fun events that go to just enjoy it. You don't have to be timed. Yeah. You're literally there just for the pleasure.
Yeah. It'll be fun. We'll see. We'll document it. We'll take pictures.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Make a scrapbook. No? Okay.
I got some AfterBuzzers here a few months ago back in March of 2013, and we did a 5K.
Oh,
so
fun.
We should definitely do something for this.
Well, we've learned a lot from this episode, and now we have signed up to do a 5K. Yay.
Yes.
So that is it for our Extreme Weight Loss episode 11. And we will see you next week. Yay.
Where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me at just Lina Green on Instagram and Twitter. Yay. Awesome. Marissa, where can I find you?
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV. And I do a bunch of other after shows, plus engineer a bunch of other after shows. Okay. And you can find Lauren at Low Bias on Twitter. Follow her. And then we're definitely going to get Lauren.
We're going to have to drag her screaming.
Yeah, kicking and screaming. She's going to do it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.